Hey guys, in this video what we're going to do is we're going to start it off with one of our development sessions on how to run lot comps and kind of figuring out how you find the value when you get a lead, which is vacant land, or when it's a property that needs to be torn down, right? So that's what we would call a lot comp. So just like your ARV comps and your rental comps, there is a way to run comps on lots. The first thing that you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking within that area, similar size of land, and figuring out what they're selling for on the open market before they get developed, right? When we're running our lot comp, we are looking at a number of variables, including what it's going to cost to build on that lot, and if there is even new builds in that area, right? We don't want to be guessing what it could be sold for as a new build. We want to be looking around and seeing if there is new development in that area. New development in that area is going to give us an indication that the area is improving. It's it's a growing area. People are going in there, buying the land, and putting new builds on that property. So I hope you enjoy this. Again, you're using Matrix just like we've done in the ARV and the rental comps. You should be getting very familiar now with Matrix. You want to be learning that inside out. And this is going to tell you how to put a number on a vacant lot. Hope you enjoy. Hey guys, so in this video we're just going to cover how you're going to run a lot comp in case you get one sent over to you. Generally there's going to be a couple different types of lots you're going to be given. One of them is going to be a vacant lot. There's nothing on the property, right? It's just dirt essentially. There's no foundation or anything like that. So the second one will be if there's a building, a house on the lot, but the house is in such disrepair that it needs to be torn down. Or as you're running your comps, you find out that a new build property might hold more value than it would be to repair that property, right? So you're looking for areas that are being highly developed, and you're going to need to come to that conclusion. Which are you going to extract more value out of? So a lot of it is just detective work. You're kind of seeing where you can get the most value, and that would equate to being able to provide a better offer for the seller, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go over into HAR, right? You're going to do the same as you were running your ARV and your rental comps. You're going to enter the matrix. You're going to go to your tax roll. You're going to put in your property. So now I have my tax roll up. I'm going to put in the property. This is 4601 Hirsch. I am going to first, before I do anything, I am going to look around to see kind of what's going on in that area and what we're working with and what looks like is on the land. So here we go. I have the lot here. And I'm just kind of looking for any indications of what's going on in the area. Just doing a little 360 zoom. I'm also picking up some points that might be a deterrent later on as you kind of familiarize yourself with what you're looking for in lot comps. So what stands out to me on this one is it's a corner lot here. Sometimes on corner lots you can get restrictions on your driveways. They don't want you backing out, right? If this was the first house in, you can't be backing out into oncoming traffic. So that's one issue to look at. And then I'm just kind of doing a little Google walk around, see if there's any new development. It's also going to help if there's any new development going up right around there. This, it might be a potential way that we can source our buyers, right? You can always look down here too to see what year the pictures were taken. I'm not seeing too much on this street, but I will do a wider search just to kind of see in the neighborhood. See if as soon as I cross over, there we go. There's some new builds, look like some townhomes. Indicates that there's a lot of development going on. This house looks like it was done at some point, so that is definitely a good sign. As you kind of get to know the areas better, you're going to familiarize yourself with the areas and if there's development going on. So just knowing this area and knowing that it's Fifth Ward, I do know that they are developing a lot of properties in this area. So I'm kind of familiar with that, right? So what's the most important aspect on a lot? It's the lot size, right? So a lot of it comes down to what you can develop on there. There's certain requirements and restrictions to lot sizes that you're considering. If you are putting townhomes on a lot, right, you need a minimum of 2,500 square foot per townhome. So if you're banking on the fact that you're putting 2 townhomes on there to extract the most value, you know that you're going to need at least 5,000 square feet. Anything under that, 4,600, 4,700. If you're pricing it to put 2 properties on there, right, you're going to be a little bit limited on what you can do, or you're not allowed. So you have to place it as a single lot, right? So same as running the ARV and rental comps. Now I'm going to first look at lot comps. When you do lot comps, there is an element of also running the ARV to see what's going on in the area. But what I first want to do is I want to familiarize myself with what's happening on just purely on selling lot comps. So there is a tab for that here under the search bar, just as your single family, your townhouses, your rentals, all of that stuff, right? So I'm going to do lots. I'm going to go to quick lots. Generally, you're going to have less activity with the lots as you are with single family, but I'm still going to see what I'm competing with and what's going on in the area. I'm going to keep this at 180 to start with, but I'm going to go a little bit further back eventually. As mentioned, they're always going to be a little bit less active. So I'm going to come over here to the tax roll. I'm copying my address. A little kind of word of warning on this little location information bar that you got to click here, and then it's going to locate it there. It can be a little bit tricky to navigate this bar here. So now what am I working with? I've got 34 matches. So before I start reducing everything, right, this property information tab is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to see what I'm working with. So let's do map, kind of see the area. Obviously, area is very particular. You're still going to go back and do all those other things that we mentioned. Here's our main roads, Lyons and Waco Street. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to plug right in between all these major roads to not cross over them. I'm just going to map these out. Let's see what we're working with here. Results. We have a pretty good mix here. We got, this is probably our best one right here. 4601. Here your 4606. So it's on the same street, roughly the same square footage. Let's see what this one is selling for here. This is a cleared lot. It's active, so it can't be used as a comp, but you're kind of seeing what you're competing with if you were buying this and listing it. This is a good one too. You kind of looking out if they have these, right? If it's been already had plans drawn and attached to the property. So this one does. They put it in the listing. Looks like a townhome, right? And that's basically what they believe you should be doing with here, and then very possibly they got the permitting for that, so they're selling that with the land. You can sometimes see that in the description. See, owner has survey and approved blueprint, so that's very positive. You're always going to want to check to see if the owner has the survey, because you're going to want to verify your actual lot size via the survey if they do have it. Let's look at the appraised value of this one that's sold. 14606. Moved very fast at 2 days on market. Multiple offers received, right? Prime opportunity, 5th ward. It has been replatted to 2. So this is a big one too, right? It has already been replatted to 2 25 square foot lots, right? That's just indicating that 2 townhomes can be built on this property. So that's attractive. Right, it actually sold for $70,000. It listed at 65, so it went for 5 days above market, $5,000 above listing price. So that is a very good comp. This was a smaller lot, 25. Maybe it was replatted to 2, and they're selling them off individually. They're showing you some examples of other townhomes which have been built. That's really just to show you that the area is being developed, and that you could put a townhome there. This one also says includes City of Houston approved building plans for 2 homes. I'm sure this is separately, because you're not going to fit 2 on that 2,500. Let's go a little bit further back. See if we can find some more purely lots. Yeah, there's not many. There's another 2. Nothing really to support our cause. This is definitely our best one here on the same street. 5,000 square foot, sold for $70,000 in 2 days. But there's a couple things we want to keep in mind.
1. Let's look at 4606. It's not going to be right there on the corner. They might not have any restrictions. I'm not saying ours definitely does have restrictions, but it's something that you want to consider, right? Okay, so this is really close to ours. This lot right here sold for 70,000. I'm probably gonna bank on saying, because the way this was already built, and our our street access, our walking access is from this side, that we would probably be able to figure out a way, right? The dimensions are going to come into effect here. It would be really good if the seller had a survey so we can see where this boundary line comes to, and try to work out the logistics of having our access point here. So that's my biggest concern with this lot is, where are you going to put your driveway? Looks like, yeah, it looks like this was the original driveway. So I would be keeping that here, and figuring out where to put those. But more I look at it, the less I'm concerned about having the driveway access and having 5,000 square foot, so I could potentially, sell this with the plans, the blueprints, so to speak, to an investor. We know this one sold for 70 very fast, so that's a pretty fair price here. So really, it's just kind of working your way backwards on this offer to know that if it was to be listed just as a lot, with your blueprints, that it would be selling for around 70,000, right? So for us, we're trying to, wholesale it, so to speak. If we listed it or wholetailed this lot, we could probably get 70. I would try to get a little bit of a discount, minus our fee, right? Just to circumvent the potential problem of having this access issue. So I'd probably be offering around 58,000 on those numbers, just to be safe. Maybe even a little bit deeper if we're going to close on it and relist it as a wholesale. But let's kind of get an idea of what's being built in the area and kind of what you can hope to get, and kind of work it backwards per square foot, right? So if you are not finding these lot comps that are sold, but you're using purely your ARV comps, the way that you're going to need to do that is to calculate the cost of square footage it's going to cost to develop those, and kind of work out what the average square footage is for your best comparables, and kind of work it backwards, right? So kind of on the low end of the spectrum, where you're not doing high end finishes, it's kind of in a lower income neighborhood, you can be as low as $80-$90 a square foot to build that property. But if you're going up into the higher end townhomes in the nicer areas, 130, 140, 150, all the way up to $200 if you're in a really nice area, right? So obviously, if you're at $200, the cost per square footage is going to be exponentially higher. If you're at 80 or 90, it's still considerable, but it might be something that you can work in there and still make work. So what you're doing is you're finding your comps at say 1,400, and then you're timesing that by the cost to build per square footage, and that's how you're going to come up with the development cost, right? So if all of your comparables are 1,400, and your development cost is say $90 a square foot, that's going to cost you about 125 to 130,000 to build that property on that lot, right? So that would essentially be your repair value, if you're looking at more on a traditional offer basis. So let's jump back to realist. Let's double check our information. 5,000 square foot lot. At this point, we're not really interested in repairing this property. It's a little 1100 2-1. It's very dilapidated. So let's look and see what the new build costs are going to be. So now I'm running more of a traditional traditional comp. And what I'm doing is I'm not looking for the old houses now, correct? I'm looking for the more modern houses. So let's go to about 2010 and plus. So I have 45. Again, I'm going to map these out, just because the different areas are probably going to have different prices. And we have a good amount of activity. Let me map these out. So as you can see, there's a big difference. Let's just kind of figure out what size we're working with, right? So one thing that sticks out here is your lot size, right? I only see one under 2,500, which I would look at. I'm not sure how they were able to build that under 2,500. Generally, your lot size on these is 25. So let's take a look at this one and see what you got. So you can kind of get an idea of the quality of the new builds. We're going to look at some of the lower end ones to some of the higher end ones, kind of see where they had a change of quality on their build. So this is something similar to what you'd be hoping to put. Obviously, you have two 2,500s, so you'd be looking at putting two on there. Again, you'd want to verify that 2,300 because that does seem low for the size of the lot. You have another one here. What we'll try to do is confirm the actual minimum allowed building envelope, they call it, to be able to build. But just kind of as a rule of thumb, 2,500 is where you're aiming. So you're kind of getting an idea of square footage. Our lowest square footage of our comp is 1,524, and our highest is 1,964. Let's verify our subdivisions. Augusta. So you see a good amount of Augustas in here, and probably enough for us to let's narrow this down. Right, and we're starting to see very similar price per square footage. Very unique looking. Kind of interesting too. This is a really, really good comp for us right here. This is very similar to the way that we are, right? We're on the corner here, the current access, walkable access here for us, and we put the two driveways in here. It's kind of interesting what they did here too, because there's no backyard. They've kind of made this an additional space. Not that I see an access point, but I do like this one for being very similar to ours. So obviously it's a new build. If you're looking at the quality, you know, a new bathroom, everything is going to be new. This property sold in 53 days and it sold for $279. So if you're looking at price per square footage, there's not a huge jump. And the smaller, right, about 164 square foot to the bigger is about 158. So I'm going to pick, and all of these are very low days on market, so that's very attractive. There's no asterisks there with really high, long days on market. So I'm actually going to be choosing out our three highest price per square foot. 17, we got these two 19s. These are all, and you all also want to be taking notes. This is what you'd be building, right? 3, 2.5. Just to save the calculations. All of these are 2,500 square foot lot. Actually, let's take out this 2,750 just to be very uniformed. And let's see if we see anything about these. And look at these. All of these comps I'm picking right now are on the same street as ours. So I can see they're probably by the same developer. So this would be an ideal example. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and look on the tax roll and see if I can find the builder. July of 2020. Here's the seller, DM Marketing Inc. Whether we'll find them or not, I'm just going to do a quick Google search. And here we go. I have their number right here, right? I want to call the builder, and I want to basically reverse to figure out how much roughly they're charging per square foot to build these. That's going to give me all my numbers right then and there. Let's assume that this cost you, let's look again at the quality of finish. Let's assume on these that it cost you $100 per square foot to build it. And then let's work out our average square foot, right? Oh, we have it here. So all of our square footage here is 1964. So let's do $100 a square foot. Again, you're building those relationships. Call those builders. Find out what it costs for them to develop. So 1964 times 100 is going to be let's say $195,000 to build these. And don't forget, because there's two, we're going to double up on these. So 195 times 2, because you're building two properties on your two lots, is a development cost of $390,000. So that $390,000 becomes our it becomes our repair bid. Now we want to work out what the value is. So same as we're doing our ARV comps, let's take these 4 price per square footage. So you see the 152, 75, the 153, 26, the 156.01, and the 158.86. Now I'm going to divide that by 4 because I'm using 4 comps. It gives me 155.22. Continually practice these is going to help you. And then I'm timesing that by my average square foot of 1964. Gives me an ARV of about right under 305. So let's call each ARV 305. We have 2 properties. Gives me a value of 610 ARV. So working backwards, let's say your repair is 390 and your ARV is 610. So if we were doing 78% deal, right? We would have 610,000. We would times that by 78. We would minus 610,000. That puts us at a sales price of $85,000. Okay, so double check those numbers. ARV 610, because we've got a very good indication of what our ARV is from our comps here. Times in that by 78 because you want some equity in there. Subtracting our $390,000 repair bid. And then let's take away our 12K fee. Puts us around 70, or this puts us at 73,000. So you can really see on this example why that lot for 5,000 square foot sold for 70,000 on the MLS. It could have very well sold to this exact developer because they knew their cost. They knew exactly what it was worth. So either way that you're doing it, you're seeing how you're coming up with the numbers. If you bought this lot and listed it on the MLS, it's probably going to sell for about 70,000. It could even sell up from our calculation here for 85,000. So you have multiple ways to do it. Either you sell it directly to the builder with these numbers, or you are listing the property. I would say this is a great example. I would be starting to offer around 58,000 to kind of see, the buyer's appetite for this lot. But I could bump it up, and I believe that we would be selling this to a developer for 85,000. So this should really kind of give you a good idea of how you're running your lot comps. Just to kind of clarify again, go over your active and your sold lots. You want to see what you're competing with on the MLS, and you want to see what's been sold. And then you are going to reverse that search by looking at your new build comps, see what's being built, getting an idea for price per square foot of what it's going to cost to develop that property. Obviously that 85 is going to change a lot depending on what it costs to build per price per square foot for that property. Hope you're kind of familiarizing yourself with that now, and this is just how we would run a lot comp.
Hey, what's up guys? Joe Davis here from Right Way Home Solutions. Thank you for watching our latest video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also press the bell, get the notifications for all future videos. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, or jump over to our website, jvtherightway.com. We have some great stuff on there. And if you have any questions relating to this video or this topic, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. I can jump on and answer any questions, or one of our team members here at Right Way can answer any questions that you might have related to this topic. So thanks, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.